You're watching India Today Global. In a major development coming in from Bangladesh, Chinmoy Krishnadas, who was a former spokesperson of ISKCON in Bangladesh, his bail plea has been rejected yet again. This is by the Chattogram court. Details that are emerging are that the bail request was turned down by the Chattogram Metropolitan Sessions Judge Mohammad Saiful Islam. After about 30 minutes of hearing both parties and their arguments, earlier 11 Supreme Court lawyers were set to participate in the bail hearing, and after the hearing there are visuals that we are going to just show you of how there were chants of Allahu Akbar outside the court. This in support of the Muslim lawyer who was killed or who died in the violent clashes that took place last time around when the court case was heard. These are amid massive clashes that we are seeing the entire process or the proceedings unfold. Not the first time, but it really exposes what's happening in Bangladesh when it comes to sectarian violence, the communal strife between the two, between Hindus and Muslims in Bangladesh. Indrajit Kundu will be getting us a lot more on this. We will be going to him and talking to him. But before that, let's just listen in to the video that has come in and watch the video that has come in from Bangladesh.
দর্শক আপনারা দেখছেন আসামি পক্ষের আইনজীবীরা কিন্তু
Indrajit Kundu joins us. There are also more reactions that we have on the case. Many diplomats who've served in Bangladesh, Indian diplomats, are weighing in. So we will go also to what Veena Sikri, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, has to say. But before that, Indrajit, if I could come to you. Major development, the fact that his bail plea has been rejected yet again. Most say that there is no evidence or proof of the charges against him, and the charges are quite serious. These are sedition charges against the monk. What are the details that are coming out as to why his bail plea has been rejected? And if you could, because the video was provided by you, if you could explain a little about what really is happening in that video where you're seeing chants of Allahu Akbar.
Well, Geeta, there was a lot of anticipation for as far as today's hearing is concerned, because it comes in exactly a month after the last hearing that took place. In between, there were attempts made by other lawyers to reach out to the court so that there could be the hearing could be preponed, but that has not happened so far. And there were also threats that were issued to lawyers at Chittagong, especially from the minority Hindu community, who were trying to represent Chinmoy Krishnadas, because the majority of lawyers within the Chittagong Bar Association, who are from the Muslim community or the majority community, they were protesting, and they had given open threats of violence against anyone who dares to appear in favor of Chinmoy Krishnadas. Now, let's get back to a few weeks back and then refresh our minds. What had happened initially was, once Chinmoy Krishnadas was arrested by the Bangladesh authorities from the Dhaka International Airport, then the next day he was brought before the Chittagong court. He was produced before the Chittagong court. During that time, there were major clashes that had erupted outside the court or within the court premises, in which one advocate, a Muslim advocate who was practicing at that court, he had died.
Advocate Alif.
Yes. And then what happened was, there was major allegations, especially within the Chittagong Bar Association, with most people saying that it was a planned murder, and that Alif, the advocate, was killed by the supporters of Chinmoy Krishnadas, who were agitating at the court premises. What happened later on is that the government pressed charges. They booked, an FIR, and several of the lawyers who were actually fighting for Chinmoy Krishnadas, who appeared in the court for Chinmoy Krishnadas, they have also been booked. So advocates like Shubhashish, Sharma and others whom I have been speaking to, they are all in hiding right now. A lot of them have not been able to return to their homes in Chittagong. Many of them who are in Chittagong are trying to keep a low profile and are in hiding because they were apprehensive that their names too would be put in that FIR. So one is harassment, legal harassment by the government, the fear of that. The second, of course, was when no lawyer was able to represent Chinmoy Krishnadas over the past 1 month. There was a veteran advocate from the Bangladesh Supreme Court, Rabindranath Ghosh from Dhaka. He came down to Chittagong a few weeks back in mid-December. He appeared before the Chittagong court. On day one, when he appeared before the Chittagong court, because he wanted to put in a petition for a quick hearing or a preponement of hearing. The hearing that was scheduled to take place today, he wanted that to be preponed, citing health reasons and of Chinmoy Krishnadas. He couldn't present his case before the court because he had alleged that he was heckled and he was also manhandled by lawyers at the court premises. The next day, police protection was provided to Rabindranath Ghosh and he finally appeared before the judge. But the case could not be heard because there was nobody else at Chittagong court to provide the wakalatnama. So the court couldn't hear the matter. So finally, all eyes were on January 2nd, that is today, when the court was once again supposed to hear the case. Initially this morning, we heard that there was a demise in the Supreme Court, and therefore the court operations would be stopped. However, fortunately, the hearing did take place. Unfortunately, Chinmoy Krishnadas's bail application has been rejected by the court. And what the point worth noting here is that the Bangladesh government or the prosecutor did oppose the bail petition of Chinmoy Krishnadas. In that backdrop, Chinmoy Das will have to perish in jail for a few more days till such time a fresh bail petition is moved in a higher court, maybe the Bangladesh High Court or the Supreme Court. Till such time, he is going to remain in jail. But there were unruly scenes in the court premises. A battery of 11 lawyers. There were no lawyers or advocates available in Chittagong to appear for Chinmoy Krishnadas. There was nobody. As I said, there were threats that have been given by a section of the Bar Association. People in black robe who were supposed to uphold the law. They themselves had given threat calls. It's all on camera, saying that anybody who dares to fight for Chinmoy Krishnadas should be lynched within the court premises. This is very much what was told.
What is interesting, but Indra, what is interesting over here is the fact that while you're saying that there was nobody available in Chittagong, you're still seeing defiance from the minority community. Rabindra Ghosh did represent him, 88-year-old man, a lawyer now admitted to a hospital in Kolkata. But there are 11 Supreme Court lawyers that have come, and Apurva Chatterjee is leading the charge when it comes to defending Chinmoy Das.
Yes. Well, that's right. Advocate Apurva Bhattacharjee is leading the team of 11 advocates who basically practice at the High Court of Bangladesh, which is in Dhaka. So since there was nobody to defend Chinmoy Krishnadas, and the most unfortunate part, Geeta, about this entire scene is that the Mohammad Yunus administration says that they believe in democratic principles. It's a secular state. However, to defend a Hindu monk, one has to only depend on the Hindu minority community and advocates belonging to the Hindu minority community. No Muslim advocate from Chittagong and no Hindu advocate either, due to their life threat, were able to represent Chinmoy Krishnadas. So 11 Hindu community advocates from Dhaka, they went to Chittagong today. They had left yesterday. They reached the court premises. They appeared before the judge. The judge has, of course, rejected the bail petition. However, what we saw after the hearing that took place at 11 a.m. this morning were ugly scenes, because a section of lawyers, advocates at the court premises, they were jubilant. They came out, spoke to the media saying that everything was very peaceful. The hearing took place peacefully. However, the court has rejected the bail plea.
Okay.
There were slogans that were given against Chinmoy Krishnadas, against ISKCON, saying that those who are responsible for the murder of Advocate Alif should be put to book. No problems about that. But the problem is that these section of lawyers have already predetermined, they have made up their mind that it is the ISKCON devotees, it is the supporters of Chinmoy Krishnadas who are actually, behind the murder of Advocate Alif. It is a matter of investigation, and nothing concrete has come out yet. Though some of these lawyers have been booked in that case as well. In the meanwhile, when the lawyers, the 11 lawyers who appeared before court today, they were given full police protection. They were brought out in police escort. There was absolute chaos. And we heard, Allahu Akbar chants outside the court, and it was heard within the court premises as well. So, in a sense, it was muscle flexing by the Muslim lawyers. So, the legal community in Chittagong, the Bar Association, unfortunately, clearly divided on communal lines, and therefore a team of lawyers had to be brought from Dhaka to represent Chinmoy Krishnadas.
Right. Indrajit, I'll just come back to you, but before that, let's just listen into what Veena Sikri had to say, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, on the case, and how she questions the premise of Chinmoy Das having been taken into custody and arrested, and the case that follows suit, and how there is grave injustice that's being done to this Hindu monk.
Well, I think it's very sad, it's tragic, it's a travesty of justice that Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari has been once again denied bail. And, even the reason for his arrest, they've charged him with a very serious charge of sedition, but there's no evidence that has been given. They're talking about some rally on October 25th, and that the flag of ISKCON, or the flag of his organization, the Sammilit Sanatani Jagran Jyot, that was higher than but there's no evidence to show that. There is no visuals, nothing. And then a case on this was filed in the Chattogram court, and Chinmoy Krishnadas was arrested at Dhaka airport and then taken to Chattogram. And at that time there was, bail was denied, and which was very unusual. And there was a huge clash between the lawyers and the supporters of Chinmoy Krishnadas in the Chattogram court, and a lawyer died in that. So at the moment, it's not even known about that, because at that time, the interim regime led by Professor Mohammad Yunus, he didn't even talk about the case of Chinmoy Krishnadas. He just spoke about the lawyer who had died, and that's all that he was expressing his concern about. So it is very tragic and very unfortunate, and against all the canons of national justice, all the canons of humanitarian aspects, that what is happening in Bangladesh today with the minorities is really beyond belief. It really goes beyond any norms in any country, or even global norms that are there. Because, they're not allowing them to hold their meetings. Chinmoy Krishnadas was rallying them around. The minorities, Hindu, Buddhists and Christians, are determined to stay on in Bangladesh. They're saying this is our country, we want our rights. They have made an 8-point demand. But the government, the regime, is not even talking about all of that. It's not talking about the violence against the minorities, not talking about the atrocities, not talking about the 8-point demand, not reacting to the 8-point demand, and really pretending that nothing has happened. So when this Muslim lawyer was killed, nobody even today knows, was he a lawyer for Chinmoy Krishnadas? Was he another, just a bystander? And a committee was appointed to look into that, look into what had happened on that day, and the lawyer had died. And this committee has now resigned. And they said it's too sensitive an issue, we resigned. So actually it is so murky, it is so, against any of the norms of justice. And then when the bail hearing came for the first time, there was no lawyer from the side of Chinmoy Krishnadas, and so the hearing was adjourned and postponed to 2nd of January. But under any normal justice system, and as provided for in the law system in Bangladesh, in India, and many other countries, that if Chinmoy Krishnadas doesn't have a lawyer of his own, the state has to provide a lawyer. The hearing must go on. But the state didn't provide a lawyer. Then today, I believe some 11 Supreme Court lawyers came to defend him. But again, bail has been denied. And no reason, at least so far, we have no reason why bail has been denied. And it is really a continuing indication of the completely far from normal and completely inadequate concerns for the minorities of Bangladesh. 1.5 crore people are the minorities, the Hindu, the Buddhist, and the Christian minorities. And the Buddhist minorities were attacked in Khairatari. There is no, relief for them. The Christian minorities were attacked. The churches were attacked. The Archbishop of the Dhaka Roman Catholic Church has made a statement on that. And he's saying that because there is no checking them, there is no police action, there's no apprehending of the criminals, this is continuing. So, people have died, they've lost their jobs, they've been forced to resign from their jobs. There's even an executive law that no Hindus will be taken as sub-inspectors in the police. So it's a very difficult situation, and I think the attention of the world community must come before.
Right, that was Veena Sikri. Indrajit Kundu continues to be with us. Indrajit, Veena Sikri is questioning the basis on which Chinmoy Krishnadas was arrested, and many others are also questioning the same. His bail plea has been rejected for now, but what, according to you, and you've been speaking to his lawyers, you've been speaking to people in Bangladesh, Chittagong and Dhaka, as also the lawyer who is right now admitted in a Kolkata hospital, what, according to you, are going to be the next steps forward for the Hindu monk, and is there any hope of him getting a bail from the Chattogram court? Well, we will try connecting with Indrajit Kundu. We've lost connection with him. He was joining us from Kolkata. But those are details that are emerging, and we'll try to get more details out as to as to what is really happening on the ground, not just in Chittagong but also in Dhaka. For now, we see defiance from the community, minorities particularly in Bangladesh, despite death threats, despite threats of facing severe consequences should lawyers go out and help Chinmoy Das. There is support that's coming in for him. After his lawyer, a senior lawyer, 88-year-old gentleman who suffered a cardiac problem and was admitted to a hospital in Kolkata, the 11 lawyers from Dhaka who've gone and are defending Chinmoy Das. Again, the basis of these charges are being questioned. What is going to happen to Chinmoy Das is something we will be tracking on the ground. We'll be trying to get voices from the legal fraternity as well as to what is the next step forward for Chinmoy Das, and whether if he can actually get bail, because the charges are serious. It's a sedition charge. It could take a long time. For now, his bail has been rejected. Keep watching India Today Global for all the latest developments on what's happening in Bangladesh, not just to do with this one Hindu monk, but also to do with minorities there, the sectarian politics that continues. What's the Yunus administration really doing when it comes to protection of minorities, although they've promised safety and security to the minority sections? All that and more over here on India Today Global. Thank you for watching.